Hey there, bikers and motorcycle enthusiasts. Welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the thrilling and sometimes dangerous world of biking culture. Today, we've got a lineup of jaw-dropping stories that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. So buckle up and let's jump straight into the action. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with our latest content. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the wild ride we've got planned for you today. Our first story revolves around Brett Cao Pache, a former Notorious Bandido motorcycle gang member. Brett Cao Pache, a former member of the Notorious Bandido motorcycle gang, found himself embroiled in a dramatic encounter with law enforcement on June 26, 2020 in Western Australia. Pache had earned a reputation within the gang for his daring and wild behavior, earning him the moniker Cao. However, his recklessness would soon lead to dire consequences. The incident began when Pache became involved in a domestic violence dispute with his ex-girlfriend, Ricky Louise. On June 24th, two police officers were dispatched to serve Pache with a police order related to the altercation. Instead of cooperating, Pache escalated the situation by threatening the officers, mimicking the action of cocking a firearm and pretending to aim at them. The authorities grew increasingly concerned when a video surfaced showing Pache uttering the phrase, "Coppers die today," while a shotgun lay nearby. Fearing for their safety, heavily armed tactical response officers surrounded Pache's residence and demanded his surrender. Despite the tense standoff, Pache eventually emerged from the house and surrendered without further incident. As a result of his actions, Pache faced multiple charges, including threatening to kill, possessing a firearm in aggravated circumstances, and breaching various police orders. He was subsequently sentenced to a year behind bars. This wasn't Pache's first run-in with the law. In 2018, he was involved in a standoff with police, and a few years prior, he was apprehended at Brisbane International Airport after evading authorities for 2 years on extortion charges. Additionally, Pache's troubles extended beyond the realm of law enforcement. He was expelled from the Rock Machine Motorcycle Club after a video surfaced showing him fleeing from rival bikers. Despite presenting himself as a tough and formidable club member, the incident at the Kingsway City retail complex in Western Australia led to his expulsion. Overall, Brett Cao Pache's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of getting involved in criminal activities and the consequences of recklessness within the biker community. His dramatic encounter with law enforcement and subsequent legal troubles highlight the risks associated with a life of crime and the eventual downfall that awaits those who choose to walk that path. Can you believe what you're hearing? Stay tuned because we've got more jaw-dropping stories coming your way. Don't touch that dial. Next up, we've got Liam Scorsese, a member of the Comanchero Motorcycle Club, whose temper led to a tragic police shooting in Brisbane, Australia. Locked doors, a stolen knife, and a fatal confrontation. Liam Scorsese's story unfolds in Brisbane, Australia, where he was a member of the Comanchero Motorcycle Club. Known for his fiery temper, Scorsese's life took a tragic turn when a dispute with his girlfriend led to a fatal confrontation with the police. The incident occurred when Scorsese attempted to enter his girlfriend's family home after being locked out during an argument. Fearing for their safety, his girlfriend, Cheris Beale, and her family barricaded themselves inside and called the police for assistance. When law enforcement arrived, they encountered Scorsese holding a stolen knife from the kitchen. Despite repeated orders to drop the weapon and surrender peacefully, Scorsese refused and instead advanced towards the officers. In an attempt to subdue him, the police fired a taser, but it had little effect as Scorsese tore the wires from his body and continued his aggressive approach. In a desperate act of self-defense, one of the officers drew their firearm and fired 2 shots, causing Scorsese to collapse. Despite receiving immediate medical attention, Scorsese succumbed to his gunshot wounds an hour later. The tragic outcome of the encounter prompted criticism of the police response, particularly regarding the activation of body cameras. Beale questioned why the officers did not activate their body cameras before the shooting, highlighting the need for improved protocols and accountability in law enforcement procedures. Scorsese's background revealed a history of criminal behavior, dating back to his youth in New South Wales. His criminal record primarily consisted of personal violence and property offences, and he had been the subject of multiple apprehended violence orders involving family members and associates. Despite his troubled past, Scorsese's story serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of unchecked anger and aggression. His inability to control his temper not only cost him his life, but also left his loved ones grappling with the aftermath of his tragic death. In the aftermath of the shooting, a coroner recommended equipping officers with body cameras that automatically activate when their guns are drawn, aiming to increase transparency and accountability in police interactions. Overall, Liam Scorsese's story serves as a sobering reminder of the dangers of letting anger and aggression escalate unchecked, ultimately leading to devastating consequences for all involved. Up next, we've got Dustin Lindner's encounter with a group of bikers that turned deadly in DuPont, Indiana. What started as a disagreement over patches quickly escalated into a violent home invasion, leaving Lindner fatally wounded and the bikers facing serious charges. Dustin Lindner's encounter with a group of bikers in DuPont, Indiana began as a disagreement over patches, but quickly escalated into a tragic and deadly confrontation. It all started when Lindner, who was not a member of any motorcycle club, wore patches associated with the Pagans and the Warlocks, two rival outlaw motorcycle clubs. This choice of attire did not sit well with a group of bikers belonging to these clubs, who took offense to Lindner wearing their symbols without being a member. What began as a verbal altercation soon spiraled out of control. In the early hours of the morning on June 22nd, a group of bikers decided to take matters into their own hands and conduct a home invasion at Lindner's residence in DuPont. Armed with weapons, they confronted Lindner, intending to beat and rob him for wearing the patches associated with their clubs. During the confrontation, gunfire erupted unexpectedly, leading to a chaotic and violent shootout. Witnesses reported hearing multiple gunshots as the bikers clashed with Lindner and possibly others present at the scene. When the dust settled, Lindner lay fatally wounded in the yard, succumbing to his injuries before help could arrive. The bikers involved in the home invasion were quickly apprehended and charged in connection with the incident. David Fowler, Gary Fletcher, Jason Brewer, Michael Karth, and Jordan Lowe faced serious charges, including murder, for their roles in Lindner's death. The tragic outcome of the confrontation underscored the dangers inherent in the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs, where disputes over territory, symbols, and perceived disrespect can quickly escalate into violence and bloodshed. Lindner's death served as a stark reminder of the consequences of involvement in such activities and the risks associated with associating with outlaw motorcycle clubs. In the aftermath of Lindner's death, the community grappled with shock and grief over the senseless violence that had occurred in their midst. The incident also raised questions about the influence and power dynamics within motorcycle clubs, as well as the broader implications of gang-related activities on public safety and community well-being. Then there's Michael Davey, a member of the Rebels motorcycle gang whose desire to leave the biker world behind led to his untimely demise in Kingswood, Australia. Betrayal, gunfire, and a tragic end. It's a story that reminds us of the consequences of trying to break free from the bonds of brotherhood. Michael Davey's story unfolds in Kingswood, Australia, where he was a member of the Rebels motorcycle gang. Despite his involvement in the outlaw motorcycle club, Davey harbored a desire to leave the biker world behind and start anew. However, Davey's attempts to break free from the bonds of the gang would ultimately lead to his untimely demise, tragically and violently. The events leading up to Davey's death began when he informed his girlfriend that he was meeting a friend across the street from their house. It was just after midnight on a Wednesday when residents on Stafford Street called emergency services to report hearing multiple gunshots ringing out in the street before a car sped away. When the police arrived at the scene, they found Davey lying face down in the driveway of a home, bleeding heavily from a gunshot wound to his head. Despite receiving immediate medical attention, Davey succumbed to his injuries, leaving behind a young family and a community reeling from the shock of his violent death. Investigations into Davey's murder revealed that he had been ambushed and targeted by two fellow Rebels members. The shooters quickly fled the scene in a getaway car, leaving witnesses to recount the chilling sound of gunshots and screeching tires. The motive behind Davey's targeted attack was believed to stem from his desire to leave the biker fraternity, which had led to his falling out of favor with the club. The betrayal by his former brothers-in-arms highlights the harsh realities of life within outlaw motorcycle gangs, where loyalty is paramount, and any perceived disloyalty can have deadly consequences. In the aftermath of Davy's death, the community mourned the loss of a man known as Ruthless within the Rebels motorcycle gang. His funeral, held in Western Sydney, was attended by numerous bikers from across Australia, paying their respects to a fallen comrade. Despite the arrests and charges laid against the perpetrators, Davy's death serves as a stark reminder of the dangers inherent in the world of outlaw motorcycle clubs. It highlights the fragility of loyalty and the potentially fatal consequences of attempting to break free from the bonds of brotherhood. And who could forget Jeremy Harris's harrowing encounter with a group of angry bikers in North Fort Myers, Florida? Road rage, a brutal beating, and a fight for survival. It's a cautionary tale that serves as a reminder to always keep your cool on the road. Jeremy Harris's harrowing encounter with a group of angry bikers in North Fort Myers, Florida, serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of road rage and the importance of keeping one's cool in tense situations. The incident began when Harris found himself in a confrontation with a group of bikers who had blocked the road in preparation for what they called a street performance. Frustrated by the obstruction, Harris confronted the bikers, expressing his annoyance at their actions.
Out of the way, you cannot block them!
However, the situation quickly escalated when Harris accidentally clipped one of the bikers' vehicles while trying to drive away. This small mishap triggered a violent response from the bikers, who began chasing Harris and eventually surrounded his car at a stoplight. Fearing for his safety, Harris grabbed a wrench in an attempt to defend himself against the enraged bikers. Despite his efforts, he was outnumbered and overpowered by the group, who mercilessly attacked him, using the tool to inflict severe injuries. Despite the horrified attempts of onlookers to intervene, the bikers persisted in their assault, leaving Harris with a fractured skull and requiring 15 stitches on his head as a result of the brutal beating. The incident shocked the community and served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of road rage and confrontation with aggressive individuals. Harris's experience underscores the importance of remaining calm and avoiding escalation in tense situations.
A horrendous experience. Is there a message?
You know, they tell you, if you see something, say something. But sometimes it's just better just to notify the police and move on.
Particularly when faced with aggressive or hostile behavior. Following the incident, several suspects were apprehended and charged with felony battery, highlighting the serious legal ramifications of engaging in violent behavior on the road. Last but not least, we have Ben Gear's violent altercation with a man over a drug dispute in Broadbeach Waters, Australia. Threats, a baseball bat, and a brutal home invasion. It's a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of the biker world. Ben Gear's violent altercation over a drug dispute in Broadbeach Waters, Australia, paints a chilling picture of the dangers lurking within the biker world. The incident unfolded against a backdrop of threats, intimidation, and a brutal home invasion, leaving a victim traumatized and injured. The story begins with Gear engaging in a drug deal with a 26-year-old man. However, a disagreement arose over payment, with Gear claiming he had not received the full amount owed to him. Despite the man's refusal to pay, Gear persisted, even resorting to sending threatening messages, including a photo of a gun, to intimidate his debtor. Frustrated and feeling threatened, the man stood his ground, refusing to give in to Gear's demands. This defiance would have dire consequences. In a brazen act of retaliation, Gear launched a violent home invasion, armed with a baseball bat. Breaking into the man's residence late at night, Gear confronted his victim and unleashed a savage attack, striking the man repeatedly with the bat and causing severe injuries that required 12 stitches to heal. The victim, caught off guard and overwhelmed by the sudden assault, was left battered and bloodied, with the traumatic experience leaving lasting scars, both physically and emotionally. The violence and brutality of the home invasion sent shockwaves through the community, highlighting the dark underbelly of the biker world and the lengths to which some individuals will go to settle disputes and enforce their will. Gear's criminal behavior did not go unpunished. In August 2021, he was apprehended by police after a rooftop chase in Kingscliff, Australia. He was subsequently sentenced to 3 years in prison for the home invasion and assault, adding to his already extensive criminal record. Before this incident, Gear had made headlines for attacking his girlfriend, prompting her to jump out of a moving car to escape him. His violent tendencies and disregard for the law had earned him notoriety within the community and caught the attention of law enforcement agencies. The case of Ben Gear serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers posed by individuals willing to resort to violence and intimidation to settle disputes and exert control. It underscores the need for vigilant enforcement of the law and proactive measures to address criminal behavior within the biker world, ensuring the safety and security of the wider community. And there you have it, folks. A collection of stories that showcase the highs, lows, and dangers of life in the fast lane. Remember to ride safely, stay alert, and always respect the road. Until next time, keep the rubber side down and the throttle wide open. See you on the next ride. Don't forget to like, share, and comment below which story shocked you the most. And as always, ride free, ride safe. Peace out.